So you're gonna have Beatrice sit. I'm gonna have Pumpernickel sit. It takes 2 people to do this exercise. We're gonna both tap the chest with your right hand. Go to your mat and then down. Now Nelson's not a trainer and hasn't done training before really at all. So it's kind of like his second time doing this. And see how Beatrice is crooked on the mat? That's okay. Let's just work with this. Now can you see both of us and both dogs? Okay, good. Just making sure. And then we're gonna reward. Nelson, you just do everything that I do. Make sure that she waits. Good. Make sure but you want to do it on the other side because you want to, at least there. Good, so the camera can see it. And I'm gonna have you keep her there. We're gonna switch dogs and we're gonna see how this works. So this is a way, like if you put the dog on the mat in a crooked way, take a handful of treats and we'll see if this works. Lure her to be straight. Good. It's not perfectly straight, but it's much better. So all I did was I drew her this way, she backed up, and then I kind of marked that space like, good, this is where I want you to be. So now I'm gonna have you take Beatrice again. And we're just gonna do the basic downstay thing was where the dogs stay. You go around the outside of Beatrice. The dogs stay in a downstay as we walk around. It's just the first thing you teach them to do, and you always go around both ways equally. I'll let you go first. And like I said, Nelson hasn't handled Beatrice, so this is really good that she's doing this for him. And then you reward, just exactly like me. Good. Make sure that she waits. Good. And you say good when she takes it. And now we're gonna just do a little tug on the leash. See how we're pulling on the leash? They're not getting up. And reward. We're just gonna do some. See how she got up? I didn't have to say anything because I backed up and she went back down. I'm talking about Pumpernickel, actually. Pumpernickel's a boy. Good. And we'll walk around again. Both ways before we reward, and then go around the other way. So just doing this side by side with the 2 dogs every day, even for 3, 4, 5 minutes, it just really helps equalize them. They're working together as a team. They're paying attention to us a lot more than good. They're paying attention to each other. Now let's try something else. So so always make sure that the leash is there. So we're going to drop the leashes and we're going to step back just to do something new. And now we're going to go back and reward them. These are just basic things that you guys can do at home with them. No. So if a Pumpernickel or either one of them pops up, you say no and they'll go back. They have that level of training now. Good. So this is just an example of the things you can do with them side by side. And now we're going to release them, pick up the leash, go stand with her on your left, Beatrice on your left. Pat your leg and say, okay. And then sit. And then we're going to just continue on with the next little exercise. With your right hand, tap her chest and say, go. And then now what we're doing is we're practicing calling them away from each other, which is another way to desensitize them to each other. And you can see what Beatrice is doing. She doesn't even care about Pumpernickel. But we're going to kind of lead the dogs up to each other. Keep going. And then come. Good. Let's do it again. Do it a couple times. So the dogs go up to each other, and then you call them away. Come. In the opposite directions. Good. Yet again, this is an exercise that takes 2 people. So Nelson, I'm going to come your way, and I'm going to pass him to you, Pumpernickel to you, and I'm going to take Beatrice, and we're going to trade dogs, okay? I'll just go this way so that I can do it with Beatrice as well. So now Nelson's doing it with Pumpernickel, and Nelson's never done training with Pumpernickel, so he's on free time. Just do exactly the same thing. Come. Good. So I think it's more about how Beatrice relates to Pumpernickel with this. Hey, come on. You have to come. Good. Let's just do that one more time. All we're doing is practicing calling them away from each other when they're like right in front of each other and they pay attention to each other. Come. Well, now that time I had to call Beatrice away from Nelson, but you get the idea, because perhaps there's been some excitement in the household where they get a little bit too overstimulated with each other, and maybe they have a little episode of some sort. I don't think anybody's been hurt, but you want to be able to control them when they're together. And if you just were to practice these little things for 3 to 5 minutes a day, it would be a lot easier to control them whenever you had an issue. Just call them both to come, they both come running to you. And we're gonna do the last thing here, which is, so you stand there, step into her, do a left circle, him, sorry, I keep calling Pumpernickel her. Pumpernickel's a boy. And then sit, left circle, sit. And now we're gonna do little sit stays. Just another basic sit stay side by side. Doing the training side by side like this really deepens their relationship with each other, because they're literally working. This is work for them, these house dogs here. This is their work to do just basic sit stays, real solid though. We're setting the bar high. We want them to really stay until we release them. Sit stays, down stays, and recall, come. So that's all they have to do, but just do it together. Like once they're good in one spot, your yard, your living room, wherever you're doing it, the upstairs area where the dogs' crates are, and they don't make mistakes, start to practice somewhere else. So always mix it up, always, if they're not making mistakes and they're too good somewhere, then it's time to move the location of the exercise. Because that way you're always pushing an envelope, you're always staying fresh. You ready? Left hand, right hand, pat your chest, go. And they're both free. And then you'll see, like, if you do this stuff, look how Beatrice just turned back to me. Good. You always want to watch for that, because that's when things start to really change. Come! And if she doesn't, call her back. Good. Now, when I practice the recall, I always do come, and I back away. Good. And so now, and bring Pumpernickel back into the shot here. So now if I don't back away, come, she still comes running back. If I can't back away, because I practiced, whenever I can practice, I practice the right way, it goes my way every time. Come, backing away, good. Dog is always drawn back to you when you back away. It triggers them to run to you instead of just walking to you, so always practice that way when you're practicing come with him or her. And let's do one more thing. Let's call them in the same direction. So you're going to be here, and we're going to call the dogs back to us and have them out of a recall. So lead them forward just like I am. Put them over there and come. Call them both back together. Good. Step into Pumpernickel and have him sit, even with us. Step out. One more little sit stay where you walk around both ways, go around that way, back in front, and then go around the other way, back in front. This time, because we're going to end this little sequence of exercises, it's going to be a reward. You always reward in a sit stay like this. Eye contact is right by your eyes, straight down, good. You see how they are literally looking in your eyes as you give them the little reward. Seems like a little thing, subtle, but it's very important. And now, go, and they're free, and now we can just kind of hang out. They can sniff each other. Excellent. That's what we want. That's what we want to see. Good girl. Okay. I really enjoyed that. Sit. We're going to practice this little greeting routine with Pumpernickel. He loves to play this little game. He's good with people, obviously, but it's just a great way to practice his skills in a different situation. Meeting somebody he knows will, and he likes him, and he would normally be excited you know, when he sees somebody he likes. But in this greeting routine, he has to practice being calm. So it's kind of a cool thing to do. It can help him in other areas as well. Just helps him basically in his general ability, all-around ability to control himself and be calm in exciting situations. So I did the walk around sit stay. I gave Will a little treat. Pumpernickel has to wait until I say, go say hi, go, and then Will gets down there and pets him with the other hand and takes the treat, and I say, come. Good. You also get to practice your recall in a different situation. Calling him away from somebody that he is interested in. Sit, somebody with a treat, but always let him take the treat first before you call him back to you. We'll do this again. And you could even do this with your family members or anybody that's around. You'll still have the desired effect. And see how he's really waiting until, I'll let him touch your hand. He's really waiting until I pat his chest and say, go say hi. He goes over, gets a treat, gets petted a little bit. Come. Good. And you're always backing away, just like any other time when you call him to come. And if he doesn't come instantaneously, there's just a little tap as you back away that helps make it happen. And that, you know, every time that you practice even in that way, his recall gets better. Sit. And notice how to reset him in a sit, I'll do that little left circle where my body shows him where to go. It's so much of this is body language. Stepping into him to, you know, reset him, backing away to draw him back to me quicker. This is the last time we'll do this. And really, you know, it's just all about sit down and come. When you get down to it, just doing it in a very specific way so that the skills become very high level. If he pops up, you say no. You already said SIT once, so the reset word is no. Put him back. But you know, we're really doing the training in a way so that the byproduct is a much calmer dog just when he's on free time. So it's really about doing it, paying attention to the little details in this stuff so that every time we release him out of a sit stay or we're finished with a greeting routine or something like that, that he's a little bit calmer at his core, at his center, and you see a difference in him 24/7. So it's about the byproduct of how we do this. Go. And one last time. Come. Good. And sit. And go. You're free. We're done. Go. You're free. It's okay, bud. Good boy. Good boy. We're going to go inside the house. Sit. Always the same way. He sits. I step in. He waits till I come back to get him. Okay. He walks through calmly without pulling me. And I'm just going to show you how we come back out as well. I'm going to close the door first. I always have him sit before I open the door, and I know you probably can't see him, so now I'm going to do, okay, have him sit here closer to the threshold so you can see him. But you know, just opening the door can trigger the dogs to pop up, so I always have them sit first, then I open the door, and they have to stay there. We step out because we're accentuating the fact that, hey, this is our boundary and you do not go through here unless you go through with us. So you wait till I come back to get you. Okay. We walk through, and on the outside, like if you're by yourself, first of all, you need to close the door, so you need to do that little left circle. Always turn left, sit, and then have him sit and go. And he's free. And actually, we're going to take him for a walk, so what we're going to do next is sitting at the boundary of the gates and the curbs, and then start the walk. Show you how to do that. Sit. We're sitting at the giant gate that leads out to the real world here. Okay. Sit. I have Pumpernickel sit right there, so you're sure to see him. If he pops up, you say no. And just reset him like this. Come on, bud. Do it again. He has to wait until you come back to get him. Okay. And then I have to close this gate because I'm all by myself. So another little left turn. Close this gate. And then out here, oh, and he got scared by the gate. We're going to have him sit at the curb and sit. I treat curbs just like I treat gateways and doorways. It's a very important boundary that I want him to get really used to never going across unless he goes across with me. Nope. And he may make a couple mistakes with you. Notice how I just said no. I reset him. He put himself back. At this point, he knows how this goes because we practice it every day. He just lost focus for whatever reason. It's easy to lose focus out on the street. You can't see it, but behind the camera person, there's stuff going on. That's why practicing out in real life is so important to do. But he gets better and better. Now he can really stay there until I come back next to him. I did a whole sit-stay thing here as well. Okay, and I always treat the street as like, this is like the calm zone. This is like the threshold of the front door or the gate. No pulling, calm. And then when I get to the other side, the sidewalk, it's sit, and here, go, he's free, because I treat the sidewalks and the walk, most of the walk is a free time thing where he gets to pee and sniff and just look around, whatever he wants to do. Just make sure you always keep the leash loose because a tight leash is your main enemy. Tight leash creates stress and tension and can promote bad behavior because they get all nervous and causes anxiety. I always have that tight leash, and so tight leash can cause issues in the dogs. More pulling, like if he's pulling and you try to restrain him, he'll just pull against you even more. So instead of doing that, you want to just say, come, let's say he's pulling, use your recall, good. Let's say that he's an incredible puller, which I don't think he is, but if he is with you in your neighborhood, come, good. Just before you start walking anywhere, come. Do 5 or 6 or 7 of these, good. Keep drawing him back to you. Come. Good. The more recalls you do like this, especially out in public and wherever you can practice, on your property as well, in your house, the more he's going to start hanging out closer to you because the new pattern of how it is to be with you is just that he always is kind of close to you. He's always coming back to you. He's never pulling you around like you're his, servant or something. You're always telling him, come. Every 2, 3, 4 minutes, you're always calling him back to come to you. You give him a little gift. And so you make yourself very relevant when you're doing that. And you can start your walk, but always make sure that leash stays loose.